been a long time since I have updated my last long video in July 2024. During these 10 months, I was preparing for Diploma Second Year Education, aka DAC, the college entrance examination of Hong Kong. 10 months of academic competition was hard and exhausting to me. As a result, right after the end of the examination, I decided to have a trip to relax. Definitely not because I'm jealous of my friends who share their trip in social media platforms. Where to go? That would be Matsu Islands, Lianjiang country. There's a complicated history behind Matsu Islands. Due to some special reasons, I can't speak out.
Here is a map of Asia, and as you can see, here is where Matsu Islands are. The Matsu Islands, or the Lianjiang County, is very close to the Fuzhou city. The Matsu Islands included some islands of Dongying Township, Beigang Township, Nangan Township, and also the Zhiguang Township. These are the few islands of Lianjiang County. The KMT lost mainland China in the end of the Civil War. However, some islands of Fujian province were still controlled by the KMT. These islands are Matsu Islands and Kinmen Islands. Thus, Matsu and Kinmen are the front line of Taiwan. During the Cold War, residents in Matsu and Qinbi were required to participate in military training. The rights of immigration were highly constricted. People in Matsu and Qinbi cannot move to Taiwan or Penghu without official permission. Their lives were highly related to military forces and war preparation, from basic training, avoid bombing, to providing services for soldiers. Residents in Matsu and Qinbi formed strong relationship with national armed forces. Forest battlefield cultures were created during these days. Now we are at the Zhengedaidan Signboard building. This building is located right next to the Fuout Harbor, with great natural views of sea and mountains. Down there is the bronze statue of President Chiang Kai-shek, who is the creator of the calligraphies on the signal board building. Zhengedaidan, which means lie your weapon as pillow and wait for the dawn. Simply be prepared for war. The calligraphy was created in January of 1958. However, it may seem weird because, as you can see, in the right side of the calligraphies, the Chinese numbers of 47 is clearly marked on it, because it is the Republic of China year numbering system, which regards the year 1912, the founding year of Republic of China, as the first year. Therefore, the 47 here means 1912 minus 1 plus 47, which is 1958 AD. Now let's back to the calligraphy itself. It is created by President Chiang Kai-shek. As you can see, his name was written on the left part of the calligraphy. President Chiang's bronze statue was nearby. Actually, this is a building, but not a simple wall. People can just go through it. At the back side of this building, there is some discrimination about the origins of this signboard building. It is basically about the former President Chiang Kai-shek visit Matsu in 1958 and write these calligraphies to prepare for war. to encourage military forces and civilians to ground Matsu. And this sanctuary building was set up by the Matsu Defense Commander in January the 1st of 1988. So now we have entered the Shengli Fort, which is also the Matsu Battlefield Cultural Museum, aka MBCM, as you can see here. Here are some instructions. The Shengli Fort was built in the 1960s and used during the Cold War, and after the troops were withdrawn from Qinbi and Matsu, the government decided to reform this fort into a battlefield culture museum. As you can see, it is a berth for soldiers to rest and prepare for the next battle, and the firefighter water. Shengli Fort has another name named the #1 Strongpoint, because this is very important in Nangan. Now we have entered the pillbox, and you may see those strange little concrete pieces. So what they are doing for? Well, this is called silencer corn, aimed to absorb and decrease sound waves. So in short, to lower down the volumes when the machine guns were firing, so that the soldiers there can receive and practice the orders from the commander well. After these windows are open, the machine gun can start walking, and these holes are used to set up machine guns and prepare their ammos. As you can see, some of those holes are through and through in favor of reloading ammos. And these are about camouflage. The camouflage can hide a person with the surrounding environments, especially the trees, buildings. As you can see, it's a map of Cold War consequences, while red represents communism and blue represents capitalism. And here is DPRK and RK, mainland China and Taiwan. And then our old friend BDR and DDR, Bundesrepublik und Democratic Republic. And these are the anti-landing facilities in Matsu. The first one is naval mine, and any landing ship came to the water mine range, the water mine will explode it and stop those ships from moving. If the tank has entered the beach, the anti-landing piles will stop those transportation facilities moving. And also the barbed wire has similar uses. And those glass knife hills are thousands of pieces of glass is shaped like a knife, and that will stop soldiers from setting a foot on it. And last but not least, the spinning plants. These are the most annoying things for soldiers to move on the island. This is a timeline of Matsu, which highlights the important times in Matsu. Firstly, 1949, the EA government retreated to Taiwan. Secondly, from 1950 to 1953, Korean War. Next, 1954, when the Sino-US Mutual Defense Treaty was signed, the treaty outlined that Taiwan and US became allies. However, it stopped it in 1979. Moving on, the Shengli War happened in 23rd August 1958. It was one of the tensest moments between mainland China and Taiwan. After October 1958, mainland China started to practice fire on odd number days, not fire on even number days. Afterwards, both sides continued to bombard each other side with shells containing propaganda leaflets on alternating days of the week, which also stopped in 1979. In the late 1960s, project of retake mainland China have become unreal. Then in the 70s, mainland China entered UN and kicked Taiwan out. In 1979, US developed ambassadorial diplomatic relationship with mainland China. That's why the Mutual Defense Treaty and the shelling were stopped at this year. Until 1992, Matsu officially aborted battlefield affairs and developed into a tourism hub. The following are images illustrating military life in Matsu. As you can see in this drawing, when it's foggy in Matsu, soldiers can barely see things around them, so it is easy to fall down in the mountains. Besides, foggy nights can be hard for sentinels to discover enemy fragments who want to reach the island. The water from the reservoir was always bad and has to make tea to cover its taste. The water is priceless, so the soldiers had to wait for the rain to take a shower. By the rainwater. The hitting of the cannonball is the signal spreading from Strongpoints. Military ration was too hot or even too hot. A dog would cry if it is hit by a military provision. Can is the most omnipresent military provision. Soldiers would still taste the food in it, even the iron cover is rust. Romantic songs and words from the recording bring some pleasures to the tough days. Letters were written under the quilt. Some words can only tell the family or friends far away. In winter, clear the sand and transport the resources from the landing boats are the two hardest things to do. This drawing also explains the phenomenon that the goods in Matsu is expensive than goods in Taiwan, because the supply of Matsu depends on Taiwan, which means that every good in Matsu they are sold out has an additional transport fee from Taiwan to Matsu. Also some historical photos. The Matsu Folklore Cultural Museum indicates public the traditional lives of Matsu people and cultural heritages, including fishery, housing, and most importantly, life as the front of Taiwan during the Cold War. These are the process of producing aged rice wine, which is a traditional alcohol drink in Matsu. These are tools used to catch shellfishes, boat. Monument can be dated back into 1896, originated from an unfair salt distribution cases. It was so serious that the government decided to intervene it. Yes, Fujian and Zhejiang together. At the time, these two provinces are under the control of same governor. So after this case, the governor published his announcement about how to deal with salt distribution correctly and order his servants to crave those words on some special stones, and these stones are called as the salt monuments today. This is President Chiang Ching-kuo visiting one of the salt monuments in Matsu. And the following are some traditional costumes and furnitures. What surprised me is that the students have to learn dialects of Matsu, the Fuzhouhua, and for the rest of Taiwanese students, they have to learn their dialects in the primary stage as well. As I mentioned before, Matsu was the front line of Taiwan, so residents there have to join military exercises and be prepared for war. These are clothings they wore, and whether male and female have to take part in the self-defense training. So some of them were chose to be part of the National Day Parade. So let's see it. How do you think they were? Quite good, isn't it? So as you can see, the people in Matsu is highly connected with military during the Cold War. And it was quite ridiculous at that time because people in Matsu need special permissions to exit Matsu and enter Taiwan or the other islands as well. Besides, special permission for catching fish and shellfish is necessary at the time. Now let's move to another strange consequences, which is the tea rooms. In Matsu, a lot of services are provided for soldiers. For instance, haircut services, washing and fixing clothes services. So these are just normal ones, but not the tea room services. It seems to be a place for soldiers to drink tea and get rest, but it isn't. It is a brothel, a military brothel. Don't demonetize me, YouTube, please. At the time, on-duty soldiers are not allowed to get married or go back home. So these brothels are built up for soldiers to deal with their physical needs. However, those prostitutes in those tea rooms are not from Matsu locally. They're mainly from Taiwan, because the regulations is that local girls cannot have any kind of relationship with soldiers. What an awkward story, isn't it? Now let's just enter the next part, the Beihai Tunnel. After the shelling in Qinbi, the government decided to construct strategic fortifications such as long sea tunnels to contain naval boats. Start from 1969, every time 17 engineered troops used more on tools and less on explosions to dig out granite in the mountain near sea. Finally, after 2.5 years, the 7-meter long sea tunnel was completed. This tunnel can contain 120 small naval boats and send these boats out of the tunnel in military conflict. You can see the statues of the fragmenting, which is on the right hand side here. These are the special forces, and also you can see the statues of engineering troops at the entrance in memory of some of their losses during the construction of the tunnel. There is a special survey which is the boating. It is about 150 new Taiwan dollar per person that you can sit on this small boat, and there was a guy to also control this little boat and show you around this tunnel. As you can see, there's a track, and this track only opens after the afternoon, because the sea level at the time will be lower. And this is the Nangan Strongpoint, which is a similar one to the Shengli fort, but it got better sea views, believe me. As you can see, all these strong points, bunkers, or forts in Matsu are redecorated by different arts groups, artists. So different artists have different projects on how to reform or how to redecorate these strong points. Compared to the Shengli fort, these strong point is more kept its original appearance, as you can see, where the stones were kept the stone size. Only the small rooms have a concrete clean environment. The rest were still kept as a stone light. And this fort has less drawings and pictures compared to the Shengli fort.
Don't fire if you cannot see it. Don't fire if you cannot hit it. Don't fire if you cannot target it.
This is Qinbi village, a traditional East Fujian style ancient village full of stone houses. Regardless of architecture, the sea view was attractive as well. It was regarded as Taiwan's Sicily, even though it was raining when I shot. But the coastal line was still clear, stunning, and picturesque. You may see a lot of propaganda slogans here as the heritage of battlegrounds and the KMT's White Terror era. For example, this one here means report enemy spies. At the time, the authority encouraged public to accuse and report suspect they regarded as spies. And it was pretty crazy. This one here means fight for final victory. And this one here means long live President Chang, which indicates the dictatorship of Kuomintang government during the White Terror era. This broadcast station was near the Qinbi village and used during the Cold War to send some propaganda broadcast to mainland China. For example, dear mainland Chinese fellows,
thanks for watching.